Mitsubishi Motors started its EV R&D in late 1960s. From that time forward, MMC has continued developing a series of EVs. Before and after the introduction of IMEV in 2009 in domestic, we have signed many partnerships with government or power company around the world and conducted various test programs with them in order to research its acceptability in each country or each city. We have long history and enough experience of EV development. EV is a car. However, there are lots of unique character when it comes to popularizing. Here are the key which we think important through our experience in many countries. First of all, the countries need to be concerned also with people about environmental issues. In addition, the market can accept small car and recognizing again the daily driving distance is not so long, actually. To put it the other way around, if your country meet those conditions, it is possible to say that our IMEV should be suitable for your market. Next slide shows where, when, and how many Mitsubishi IMEV will be introduced and now running. As I mentioned before, we have launched IMEV in Japan in 2009 and produced 1,600 units. This year, we are planning to produce 9,000 units and double the capacity on 2011 next year. If you look outside Japan, some of the right-hand drive markets introduced a sample unit of IMEV in 2009, like here in Hong Kong, and followed by left-hand drive market in 2010. The launching of European market is scheduled this year, and an initial delivery will be made before Christmas. We are also preparing for the North American launch in 2011. This slide, next one. This slide shows what kind of EV and PHEVs will be released from Mitsubishi Motors in a few years. I'm afraid that I don't have enough time to explain today in detail, but I'd like to touch on it in short. The point that Mitsubishi Motors will keep contributing to environmental protection by providing new and attractive green vehicles in the coming year. Our target is to have 20% of total our vehicle production that consists of EVs and PHEVs by 2020. Finally, it's my deep desire to work together, all of you, toward a better environment, also toward a better society, and also a better world. We, Mitsubishi, is really willing to contribute you and the world in any way possible. Thank you very much for your attention.
I'm extremely pleased to see the right-hand drive market being catered for two reasons. One, we're in Hong Kong, and two, I'm from London. So this is important that it's well catered for. Excellent. Right, I would like to invite 5 people up to the stage. And if we can applaud them one at a time would be great. Miss Vivian Lau, if you'd like to come up. Vivian's the Deputy Secretary for the Environment, Hong Kong. Great. Mr. Joshua Milberg. Thank you. Joshua's the first Deputy Commissioner for the Department of Environment for Chicago. And Mr. Nakamura, who needs no further introduction. Mr. Paul Lin, also no further introduction. And finally, Ms. Pauline Key, who's a manager for Zero Emission Business Unit for Nissan in Japan. Great. What I'd like to do, just to start the debate, is I'll ask an extremely difficult question, which I'm sure you've probably heard 100 times before. And perhaps one at a time we will address them. And if we feel we can get some additional experts from the audience, we'll introduce them as we go. So my question really, in terms of getting the winning value proposition in this market, what will it take for EVs to achieve this total value proposition that's superior to conventional cars, so that we truly do get the uptake that we need? And I'm talking about price, performance, the operating economics, the charging infrastructure, basically everything that's going to make this work. And perhaps, Vivian, if you'd like to start us off.
Right. Actually, I think I'm here to pose difficult questions to the EV suppliers and other stakeholders. But of course, yes, I think the important thing to make EV a winning proposition is dependent on a few factors. One very important factor would be government's commitment. On this front, I think for Hong Kong, we are determined to promote the wider use of EVs. Hong Kong is a small place. I think we fit, every condition required to make EV a success. And we have been doing this by handing out financial incentives. By that I mean EV users, when they take out an EV, actually they would automatically get what we call exemption from the first registration tax. So they do not have to pay tax for the EV. This could be quite a substantial amount. At times, it could be 100% of the car price. And then we are also encouraging corporations to take out EVs. Why we have to target at the business sector? Because for a time being, because of the relatively high setup cost, high initial cost of the EVs, that I mean, well, compared with conventional vehicles, EVs are a lot more expensive. And that's why we are appealing to corporations to be the first movers. Because corporations, perhaps they do not mind too much about paying more as a pilot award to try out EVs. So we're working on them. And to give them incentives, what we are doing is to allow them to accelerate the profits tax reduction in the first year of purchase. That is, they do not have to wait till 5 years for depreciation or whatnot in the calculation of profits tax. They can deduct everything in the year of purchase. And soon we will be launching what we call a pilot green transfer fund. We've earmarked 300 million Hong Kong dollar, that is about 40 million US, to encourage the transport sector to try out new, innovative, green, low-carbon transport technologies, including, of course, EVs. And indeed, before launching of this scheme, we're still working on the details. Last month, in his policy address, the chief executive has also announced that government would actually partner with the franchised bus companies in Hong Kong to try out hybrid buses, because they are more readily available for the time being, with the marker that if the bus companies are keen to try out EVs, we would be providing similar financial support. So perhaps I'll stop here.
And what would your question be to the manufacturers?
As I said, well, first, as I said, the initial price of EVs is relatively high, especially for private cars. As I said, we have been working on corporations instead of individuals, because for individuals, probably they will compare price, they're more price sensitive. I think I'm with an example. It is now, in Hong Kong, it's now about 400,000 Hong Kong. It has a conventional fuel model. I think this is the same one, but it is not EV, it's a conventional model. Is half the price, or actually less than half the price. So for consumers, it's really, well, hard to convince them to be the first movers. So perhaps the car makers will have, the piece to say on this.